we recording? All right, where I go. Now, first of all, welcome to the presentation tonight. You have a private showing tonight, which is great. My name is Trevor, and I'm the program manager. My colleague Sarah is the marketing manager of the program. We've both been here for many, many years. I'm in my 21st year right now, and Sarah's in her 13th or something like that. Year 12 right now. And other staff members, there's 5 of us in general, and I'll do a short introduction for them in a minute. But like we're saying, we're downstairs in the high school here. We're hands-on to support our students from the beginning right to the very end. And our program here in New Westminster started in 1987. Believe it or not, there was a time in this school district when there was lots and lots of space. And there was a gentleman, the associate superintendent at that time. He had of having students, I think at that time from Hong Kong coming to our school. And that was the birth of the program, right back in 1987. So we think we are the longest running international education program in a high school in Canada, for sure. Normally I use my clicker, but it looks like my battery is running down, so I'll just do it manually tonight. This is who we are. My name is Trevor. Sarah is over there. There's Eva, who Sarah mentioned before, is our homestay manager. We have Naomi Park, who is our secretary interpreter, and Ewan Zhang is our financial manager. All 5 of us, although we have our specific duties, everybody is there to help the students. We never have a student come in to the office and someone says, well, sorry, I can't help you today. Such and such is not here. We don't work that way. We're here to support the students, as I say, from the beginning to the end of their experience here. What do we do? Without a doubt, one of the things that we do here in the international program is we create revenue for the school district. That's kind of the number one thing that we do. Besides that, though, we have activities for our students. We enrich the school district in those ways. Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we've got our students who are out doing volunteer work in the school district. Recently at the Scowich Fall Festival, at the Connaught Heights Spring and Winter Festivals, our students are there working at the booths and making those things work. But in general, our students are adding to the diversity in the school district, while at the same time we are creating revenue for the school district. How do we do it? So before the student actually arrives here in Canada, there's lots that goes on behind the scenes. And we're, like any business, we have to have people know about the product that we offer. And there's basically 3 ways that we do it. We have our partners, we call them our agents, and they're all around the world. And they work at the local level in the countries that we go to speak about our program, to talk about New Westminster, what we have to offer. And they're pretty much the first level of engagement for people coming to our program. Another way is education fairs, and with those we will visit various target countries. For example, Sarah, I think this was from in Korea, I think, right?
That one's Mexico.
Mexico, thank you.
Definitely Indo.
Right, so yeah, the main countries that we're working with.
Sorry, the one on the left. I'm not sure about the one on the right.
That one there, yeah, no worries. We're going to Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, Thailand, European countries, and Mexico as well. Generally speaking, that's where our students will come from, but I'll say a little bit more about that afterwards. And at the education fairs, parents and students will visit the fairs, and we can actually speak directly to the students and their parents, or to agents at those fairs too. And a big part of our recruiting is through word of mouth. And that word of mouth is through lots of siblings that have been to our program, brothers and sisters, and just kind of like, your connections that you have with your neighbors. People learn about our program, they get interested, and before you know it, somebody's niece or nephew is here at the program. So I won't say a lot about this, but this is the application process, how students actually come to be here. So a student, once they've decided that they're interested in our school, they will submit an application. Naomi Park, our secretary, she goes over it with a fine-tooth comb, make sure that everything is signed and checked and everything that's required in the application is there. Then I review the application and I will make a decision on whether or not the student is acceptable to the program. If they are, we send the letter of offer to the students. The students pay their fees, and the student is placed with a homestay family. And our homestay families, just so you know, are the custodial parents for our students. And we don't want you to be afraid of such a thing if you're interested in being a homestay family for us, because once again, we as a school district, we are the overall responsible party for the students. The homestay family as the custodial parent, generally speaking, it just means the students use the piece of paper to get their study permit to come to Canada. There is no liability per se to be a custodial parent. So then the student applies for their study permit. The Immigration Department of Canada reviews that and grants them their study permit if they're successful. And then the student arranges their flights to Canada, and before you know it, they are here in New Westminster Secondary School. So there is a decided set of steps to be able to be accepted to the program. So how do we support our students? So it's not just that the students arrive in Canada and we say, welcome to Canada, go to school, see you later, best of luck. We don't do that. We keep our students busy, so we're actively looking for volunteer activities for our students to be involved in. Our students have lots of time, so they want to be involved with Canadian institutions. They want to do things with families and schools. We're in our office here to do listening. We're here to listen to our students, right? If they've got a problem, a question, maybe they've had a fight with their math teacher. We're there to listen to them about that issue. And we'll try to get the counselor involved and we'll try to solve that problem. We have 24/7 support for students and homestay families. We deal with lots of emails, and we also do phone calls and video conferences and things like that. Also, because we've been doing this program for so long, and all of us in our program, we've lived abroad at one time. Sarah lived as a high school student in Japan for 2 years in a homestay. I had lived and worked in Japan for 7 years in total, and our other staff members are newcomers to Canada in the past. So everyone in our office knows what it's like to be away from their family, to be in a new situation. And we transfer that experience to our empathy for the students when they come to us with an issue. And of course, we work hard to let our students know that there is help nearby. They can speak with their counselors, of course they can speak with us, and of course they could use the nurse practitioner. But like the sign says there, we are always open. Now, here's a few things. There's a lot of stuff in the news these days about international education. And when I was in the car on the way over to the school tonight, I was listening to AM 980, and they were talking about this on the news. And one of the things I want to make very clear is high school international education is completely different from adult international education. Yes, the students, they pay a fee. Yes, they must have a study permit, but that's kind of where it ends when it comes to some of the stuff that you might hear in the news. The first thing you might hear is that international students, they're loaded, like they have money falling out of their pockets as they're walking down the street. Without a doubt, you have to have some additional money to be able to be an international student, because you have to pay a fee. You have to pay the tuition fee and you have to pay the homestay fee. But I know for a fact from students and the families that I know, some of these families, they've saved for many, many years to give their son or daughter a 1 semester or a 1 year experience in our program. It's not necessary that they're extremely wealthy. I know some students, they came here on an inheritance. Their grandmother passed away, and in the grandmother's inheritance was money to be able to study abroad for a year, because that was something that the student had always told their grandmother that they wanted to do. And the other thing is we have some students who take a loan. They take a loan out to be able to pay for this because the family feels that this is a very important part of their education. So not everyone is necessarily loaded when they come here. The other one is we hear sometimes in the news that international students are overwhelming the medical programs here. The hospitals are full of international students. That is completely not true. These are 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old students here, and usually we've had the odd broken arm or sprained ankle or the cold and flu, but no one is here getting a hip replacement or anything like that. So that's not true. Fraud, our office, we control 100% of the application process, the letter of acceptance process, and all of the money that's involved with it. So there's no in-between funny business going on. The other one is food banks. This is a new one that I heard just recently, is that international students are raiding all the food banks and taking all the food in the food banks. And again, that's just completely not true. Our students are staying with homestay families, and part of the homestay family experience is you have 3 meals a day with your homestay. And again, adult education, different story from international education for high school students. And I'm not saying that that's happening everywhere in adult education as well, but these are the things that are coming out of the news, and they're not really true. And the other one, I've got a cargo ship here, and the other one is that you often hear is that the student is a weak student at home, so the family is shipping them off to Canada. They can't pass school at home, they're not very good students, so they're trouble, so we're just getting rid of them. That is completely not true. I would bet that 99.9% of the students that we have in our program, first of all, they're very friendly, very personable, and polite young people. They get some of the highest grades here in the school, and they add a lot to the program here. So again, we often hear a lot of things on the news about various things, and what the truth behind those stories are often a completely different thing. Anyways, who are our students? So right now, in grades K to 5 in the New Westminster School District, we have 3 students in grades K to 5. In grades 6 to 8 in the middle schools, we have 8 students. And those students, based on their age, they are with a parent. They're not in a homestay family. And as you can see, the majority of our students are here at New Westminster Secondary School, where there are 163 students in grades 9 to 12. Okay? And most of those students are in a homestay. And this is where the majority of our students come from, the countries. We have Mexico, Brazil, these European countries, Japan, China. Of course, we've got Thailand, Vietnam, in those places there. Okay, and what's in it for us? Okay, and I've got this slide here. I mentioned at the beginning that one of the things that we're charged with in this program is creating revenue for the New Westminster School District, which is without a doubt one of the things we do. But we're not just doing this for the money. These are some of the things that we are doing the contributions that our students are making here in New Westminster, in the New Westminster School District. We've got students volunteering in the community. We've got after-school activities, elementary school festivals. We've got exchange of culture with our families. Of course, there's the economic community economic contribution. You know, every time a student, an international student, goes to Starbucks and buys a cup of coffee, they are adding to the local economy. Or maybe they're going to Walmart and buying toothpaste or something like that. Those are people who are not normally here, who are here studying and making those contributions to our economy, paying sales tax and all the rest of that stuff. Exchange of ideas. One of the things that teachers enjoy about our international students is they have a different perspective. You know, a student from Italy may have a different perspective on a government topic than, per se, a student from Canada or from another country. Global connection. Our students, once they've finished here in New Westminster, they've got New Westminster, British Columbia, and Canada in their heart. And when they go back home, you can bet in the future, if they're involved in business, if they're involved in government, you know, they've got Canada in the back of their mind. So, you know, those are connections that we can't stress enough. And we have some plans for the future for our program. Last year, we had our first annual International Culture Day, and that was a lot of fun. It was a huge hit. It was a lot of work, but as my colleague and I often say, it was the most work we've ever done for any event in the school, but it was also the best event we've ever done. So, did you remember that last year? Yeah, it was a good time, eh? Yeah, and we're going to try to make it bigger and better next year too. Some things we've got these Japanese students, Korean students, Spanish students, French students, native speakers who are in our program here, and we want to create a buddy system where they can get together with students from NWSS who are learning Japanese or Korean, Spanish, or French, so they can have that connection, make friends, practice the language. And we've also got all of these languages here. So another thing we want to get going is a language exchange club. And maybe it's, you know, Korean. Right now, everybody's interested in Korean music, like K-pop and things like that. So right now, all of the Korean language classes here at the high school are just packed because everybody's so interested in that. And we want to get our Korean students connected with students in NWSS who are interested in learning Korean, but maybe on a more personable level. And also working on a band trip to Japan that would hopefully go ahead in spring of 2025 if we can raise enough money for it and get everything in line. Right now, we do have a relationship with a high school in Tokyo that we have. This year we actually have 10 students from that school, and they come every summer to our program. Maybe you'd be interested in hosting in the summer for a couple of weeks. But yeah, very popular programs that we have for those kids, and we want to take it to the next level with having our Canadian students go and visit those students in Japan. And outbound students. You know, we have lots of students from other countries coming here. We want to start to look at the potential of having our Canadian students go and visit some of these countries where our visiting students are from, because the youth exchange is just that important that we want to keep that going and create it. So these are things that more so directed to teachers that we watch for. You know, and as potential homestay families, these are also important. Some students are not fluent in English and may come off as very direct. You know, I can remember myself learning Japanese, and when I was going to say something in Japanese, it might not have come across as being very polite, but I was able to get my meaning across. But you know, sometimes we just don't have the fancy language yet to come across as being super polite. Also with language, most students need some processing time to listen and create a response. I can remember learning Japanese as well, where someone would say something to you and you're thinking, okay, you're processing that and you're hoping for that time to be able to come up with an answer, but then someone shoots out, oh, he doesn't understand what you're saying, so this is what it is. But you need a little bit of time to process and create your answer. Students' behavior on a certain day may be a result of something that has happened at home. Yeah, this is a very common event, especially now that everybody is connected instantaneously with home. We can have students sitting there in their classroom and they can be having a video conference with somebody at home. So yeah, we've had cases where a relative may have passed away. A cat or a dog, a pet in the family, has maybe passed away, and that affects the student's behavior that day. It's rare, but sometimes the student may need to return home for a few days to deal with a family situation. And we've usually have that once or twice a semester. Again, maybe somebody is ill or has passed away. And we say to our teachers and our homestay families, please let us know if a student is absent from class for more than 2 or 3 days at a time, or if you are seeing a pattern of absences or lates. And again, in our office, we support our homestay families, we support our students. So our homestay families don't have to come across as the disciplinarian or like, how come you're not going to class? What's going on? You let us know and we will deal with that in our office, either through ourselves or through the agencies, or most likely through the counselor as well. Okay, and that in a nutshell is kind of what we do in our program. And as I say, our program has been operating since 1987, and we are a full service program for international students from K to 12, with the majority of our students being here at the high school in grades 9 to 12. Okay. Good. You came at the right time. That's right. That's right. All right. Yeah. So, any questions?
Yeah, just, I'm sorry, I've been absent for the first
Sure.
really informational
That's okay.
part. And the international education program is actually created for local people as well.
No, it is created for fee-paying international students from other countries. One of the things that we want to get going in the future is if we can create the right relationships in various countries, we want to give our New Westminster Secondary School students an opportunity to go to select countries and select schools that we can create those relationships with. That's, yeah, that's right.
For the international education program, if, for example, I got a niece in China,
Right.
he's enrolled some IB program, and how can I join her in the international education program in
Sure.
summer school?
In summer school. How old is your niece?
Like 15.
15. And may I ask how her English level is?
Oh, I cannot tell.
Sure.
Like she doesn't even speak English to me. She feels
Yeah.
like nervous when he
Gotcha.
speaks it.
Sure. The reason I ask is the students who attend academic summer school, those are students who are attending New Westminster Secondary School either in the previous year as a student or coming up in the next year as a student.
You mean like if, for example, if my niece are really young, like I got a lot of nieces.
Yeah, that's great.
So if a really young girl, I enroll her since the kindergarten level, every year I can return to the summer school of New Westminster with no trouble. Is that correct?
Yes and no. I'd have to look into, like for high school students, for example, they need to be a student attending school in British Columbia. For example, they need to have a personal education number, a student number. They have to either have been a student, the previous school year or in the upcoming school year.
So the crack period will be kindergarten to 8.
Yes, and those classes, they're more, how can I say, interest classes, like science class or cooking class or things like that. They're not academic related. A student should have enough English to be able to follow along in the class. Yeah, that's right. But no, those are, there is actually a table right downstairs for summer learning as
I
well.
got that already.
Oh, good, yeah, okay. Yeah, awesome.
Send out.
Yeah, good.
And so the international learning for kindergarten to 8 is all not academic,
That's correct.
but teach in English basis.
Absolutely. There are a few classes there that are kind of like review English, review math, those kinds of things for grades 5, 6, 7, or 7 and 8. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like get ready for grade 9 math, things like that. So there's a little bit of, you know, don't get me wrong, they're not really hardcore, intense classes, but exactly, that's right. No, that's right. Good. Yeah, good questions.
So when do the students normally place? Do they come here for the full year, a semester,
Yep, excellent question. We have students who come for 1 semester, 1 year, and students who come to graduate. And if you're interested in being a host family, don't get me wrong, there's no contract that you sign and you say they have to be with you for 3 years. No. And just as we say with our students, you know, it's fantastic, and we do have students, quite a few students, who stay with the same family for 2 and 3 years, but we have students that move around as well. That, you know, it's the human condition, as you know from your experience hosting in Vancouver. And sometimes students request a move, sometimes the Homestay family phones us up and says, you know what, it's kind of not working out with this student, maybe they should go someplace else. So it's kind of a two-way street, but Eva, our homestay manager, she does a wonderful job of matching, and more often than not, the student is with the host family for the entire time that they're here.
How do you vet the host family?
That's a good question. So there's the online application, and then Eva will review that, and she'll make an appointment with you. She'll come out to your house. She'll have an interview with you. The best part about that interview is it allows homestay families to ask everything they want about the program, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And she'll see the homestay room as well and make sure it meets the codes. And then the family does a background check for the school district, and you're good to go. Yeah, yeah, it's fairly straightforward. Yeah.
So the school matches the students with the families?
You bet. That's right. And, you know, we'll do our best to, you know, we've got students that, do you have children of your own at?
I have a daughter.
Yeah.
She's in grade 10.
Grade 10, yeah.
And so, you know, we could request a female student, right?
Of course, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that, and we're very, again, we've been doing this for a long time, is one of the most common comments that an international student will put in their application is, I want to be in a home with the same age daughter. And we say, yeah, you know, sometimes they hit it off. Like there's a couple students here, like they're best friends, hey? And some not. You know, they live in the same house and they don't even walk to school together, if you know what I mean. So, but it's still a good relationship. It's just, it's not fairy tale-ish as, you know, or all Hollywood or something like that. And we're very open with the agencies and the students about that too.
So
Yeah.
tell me the 3 meals that are provided, right? I mean, we eat meals as a family at night.
Sure,
But
yeah.
for like lunch and breakfast, do they prepare their own food, or, I mean,
Yeah.
how does that normally work, or does it depend on the family?
It's all over the place. And we will also tell the students that breakfast in Canada is pretty simple. You come up and you make a slice of toast or a bagel or cereal and you're out the door. Some families, they will make a lunch, they'll make the sandwich, they'll do the leftovers. More often than not, it's, you know, the host family will say to the students, hey, this is the food that we have for lunches. Some families, they might make extra at night, and the students then can take the leftovers the next day. The only issue is that we do not have a microwave here at the high school to use. They used to have them, but they were destroyed every time, so they don't have them anymore, unfortunately.
My
But
daughter just brings a vacuum.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's pretty flexible. We don't ask our homestay families to make bang, bang, bang 3 square meals and pack-in lunches and things like that. Some do, if they like to do that. We also encourage students to be very honest with the homestay family, because we see lots of sandwiches, 3-point toss to the garbage can, and they go to the cafeteria for fries. So we try to discourage that, and if that's what's happening, make your own lunch, or but don't waste the food from home, for sure. Yeah, good questions. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want a Ferrero Rocher?
No, I'm fine. No, I'm good. I'm good.
There you go. That's right.
I got chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Is it pretty similar
Yeah.
to what we expect?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
So instead of applying, it's actually run through.
Yeah, it's through the school district here. Yeah.
Actually at the school, so it's
Yeah.
not like a third party. That was
Yeah.
my first question.
See,
Yeah.
one of the, to tell you the truth, one of the things that agencies that we work with really like is the fact that our homestay program is operated through the school district. And they just feel that, we have that much more accountability and things. And I'm not saying other homestay or agencies are not good. They just like the idea that we're located here in the school, and we've got a handle on everything that's going on. Yeah, for
So
sure.
outbound students, when do you think that program will be up and running?
We're hoping for September 2025 is when we like to try it. Sarah's going to be in Japan next month, and
Next,
2 September, a year and a half from now. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Any projections how much it's gonna cost?
well, if it's a true exchange,
Yeah.
it shouldn't cost anything. It should be airfare and spending money.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I wouldn't expect anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does New West run anything like that at all right now?
There's Rotary. If your daughter is really interested in it right now, I recommend that she try to look into the Rotary program.
So the school
How
Rotary?
is that Rotary?
Rotary. It's a service club, I believe, the Rotary Club.
Oh,
And I don't know, Sarah, you might know a little bit more about it, but I don't know much.
I never did the Rotary, but I went to Cologne with a student that was on the Rotary, and it's a similar idea that you do through this organization. I'm not sure what the fees are. The program that we're looking into is the program that I actually did in high school, and so
Yeah.
I'll go back to visit my old high school and see if there's a way of setting it up.
Yep.
And it was a very well-run program.
And you were there for one semester?
I was there for a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty, anime and manga have put Japan on food. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Oh, really? Cool. Does she experiment a little bit with making her own rolls and things, or? Oh, good for her. That's great.
Staying with like, one of my friends at a naval, I was there.
Oh, good. Have you been there?